Hi everyone. I am now going to review property number 2 for exponent properties. Before I do that, I would like you to pause the video and try these 4 warm-up problems that go with property 1. So go ahead and pause the video. Okay. Here are your warm-up solutions. So again, hopefully you had a chance to do these. Okay. The only one that I want to look at is number 14. You also could have had, based on what I said on the review, you also could have had 9 to the 2nd, x to the 6th, y to the 4th, and same thing for 16. You could have had 6 to the 2nd, x to the 5th, and y to the 4th. Okay, 13 and 15, the coefficients in front were different, so you had to multiply those numbers through. Okay, the only time you're going to keep the base the same and add your exponents is when the base of those coefficients are the same. Okay, so if you have more questions on the warm-up, again, please email me. Okay. Okay, so the notes that you guys have, again, either use the PDF that I had under today's lesson or this week's lesson plans, or you may follow along in your notebook. So property 2, a review of this said dividing exponents. To divide powers having the same base, you subtract the exponents. So if I zoom in on this, okay, all that's saying is if we have something like x to the 5th over x to the 2nd, you're going to subtract them. Remember, take bigger exponent minus smaller. Keep the answer where the bigger exponent is. So x to the 3rd. Okay, we keep it on top. The reason you know it's on top is there's really a 1 on the bottom. You just can't see it. An example using numbers. If we have 8 to the 10th over 8, remember there's really a 1 here. You're dividing same base, so you would rewrite the base and subtract your exponents. 10 minus 1 is 9. So it would be 8 to the 9th power. Okay, underneath this, there's a big star, okay, which reminds us to take the larger exponent minus the smaller exponent. The term goes where the larger exponent is. Now, we have some examples here below that are already completed for you. I'm not going to read through these. If you would like to pause the video and try these 4 and cover up the answers, that's a good idea to practice before I go over a few more examples with you. Okay, so if you want to pause it, go ahead and try those. Just cover up the answer. Okay, so let's look at the letters in your notes. You guys have A through I. We will do most of these, but not all of them. Okay, so again, go ahead of me. Pause the video if you want to try it before I go through all these, or stay with me, whatever is best for you. So letter A, 3 to the 3rd over 3 to the 2nd. You are dividing same base because both bases are 3. So we're going to rewrite the base of 3. Subtract your exponents. 3 minus 2 is 1. Keep your answer where the bigger exponent is. So 3 to the 1st, which is the same thing as 3. Okay, letter B, y to the 5th over y to the 3rd. We're dividing same base, so we're going to rewrite our y. 5 minus 3 is 2. Again, keep the answer on top. That's where our bigger exponent is. Okay, letter C. So when it gets harder, when there's more than one term, if you remember in class, we always started with a fraction bar. Okay, so let's take our coefficient first. Remember with property 1, when those coefficients are different, you're just going to do the operation that's there. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. Okay, we're going to keep it on top because it's not 1/2, it's 2. And then x to the 7th over x to the 4th. Your base is the same. We're going to take bigger exponent minus smaller. So we're going to keep it on top, okay, because that's where our bigger exponent is. You can put a 1 on the bottom, or if you just completely reduce it, your reduced answer is 2x to the 3rd. Again, that's the same thing as having the 1 on the bottom. Okay, letter D. Okay, let's start with making our fraction bar. Okay, so we have 4 divided by 2. Again, the coefficients are different, so you're going to divide those. It goes on top because it's 2. So I'm going to cross those off. The x is by itself, so we are just rewriting the x to the 3rd. Okay, I'm going to cross that off. The a, it's a to the 2nd over a to the 1st. So you're going to take 2 minus 1, always bigger minus smaller. Put the answer where the bigger exponent is. So a to the 1st goes on top. I'm going to cross those off. The y to the 2nd is by itself, so I am just going to keep that on the bottom. This is your reduced answer. You do not have to keep that 1 above the a on any standardized test that you would have next year or whatever. You will not see that 1. But again, it's not wrong. It's fine to keep it there. Okay, letter E is when it starts to get a little bit harder. You guys probably remember this. So put equals, make your fraction bar. The first thing you want to do is look at those coefficients. Those coefficients are different. Okay, so we're going to reduce that. So using your calculator, you're going to take -3 divided by 27, math, enter, enter. Okay, and make sure again you put it back as a fraction. That reduces to -1/9. All right, so I'm going to cross those off. Do not leave it as a decimal. Looking at your z's, the base is the same, so we're going to rewrite the z on top because that's where our bigger exponent is. 5 minus 3 is 2. Sorry, that's Bessie. So -1 z to the 2nd over 9. Okay, letter F is kind of similar. So I want you guys to pause the video. Go ahead and try letter F before I go over it. Okay, so hopefully you did this where you typed in your calculator -2 divided by -14. You end up with +1/7. Okay, and then the A's, A becomes A to the 1st. You're leaving it on top where that bigger exponent is. The B becomes B to the 6th. Again, leave it on top. That's where the bigger exponent is. The C to the 2nd stays on the bottom because there are not any other C's in this problem. If you cleaned it up and got rid of these 2 1s that are there, that is absolutely fine. Okay. All right, let's do one more of these. Let's see, let's do letter H. Okay, so I'm going to skip the other 2. Okay, so letter H looks hard. It's really not. Okay, let me give you like 30 seconds just to look at this before I start to go over it. Okay, so hopefully the first thing you're thinking is there's a coefficient in front that you need to reduce. Okay, so -12 divided by 15, math, enter, enter, reduces to -4/5. So that's simplified. Okay, now looking at our e's, e to the 6th over e to the 4th, take bigger minus smaller, keep the answer on top. so e to the second. Okay, we then have f to the fifth over f to the fourth, which reduces to f to the first. Keep it on top, that's where our bigger exponent is. Now what happens with the g here? We have g to the fourth over g to the fourth. So I haven't reviewed this yet, but remember, when you're dividing and the exponents are the same, you can do two things. You can take 4 minus 4, which is 0. Do you guys remember anything to the 0 power is what? Okay, hopefully you said 1. Or you can just cancel these out. They're gone. It's dividing the same term, so they're going to cancel. Same thing here with h to the third divided by h to the third. They are the same term. They're going to cancel, so cross them off. Okay, now looking at your I to the second over I to the first becomes I to the first, so I'm going to cancel. The j is by itself. There are not any other j's, so rewrite it, it stays on top. And then same with k. There are not any other k's, so just rewrite it, it stays on the bottom. So that's it. You simplify that. That is as simple as it gets. So again, when you divide same base, you are subtracting exponents. Make sure it's always bigger minus smaller. Keep the answer where the bigger exponent is. Okay, so your assignment that goes with this is at the bottom of my Google Classroom stream for this week. It says exponents with division worksheet. So I want you to try that, show your work, and submit it in Google Classroom when you're done. Again, the next 2 weeks or so, we are going to review exponent properties with you to make sure that you're not forgetting these. Email me with any questions. Everyone